So, and you realised it was going to stop itself there, did all that white thing went on for. So that your introductions.
You're not on the right one, mate. You're just going to go TBL live here, buddy. That's it.
Yeah.
Hello,
hello,
and welcome to our live event today. My name is Luke Hall.
I'm Danny Gray. Sorry, yeah, that's my bit. Yeah, that's me.
And we are so proud to be here today with you, launching our new business and our new brand, the Virtual Labs. Over the next 15 minutes, we're going to take some time to walk you through our story of the last 2 years and how we got here, the pains, the fun, the excitement, but ultimately the lessons, and what are the lessons that led us to create the Virtual Labs. So as you'll see, we're stood in a set, or as we like to call them, labs. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk about our journey that got us here today.
Sorry.
That's actually fine, my fault, because I never moved the slide on.
I don't know, I'm moving myself just. So then you put your slide on. Back to one.
Now, we're all a little bit tired of talking about the pandemic, okay? But for us, it is where the Virtual Labs began. We are fortunate enough to run two businesses independently, both in the learning, development and people industry. And when we delivered pre-pandemic, it's fair to say that 95% of what we did was in a traditional classroom in front of people. So us and our teams would facilitate learning and events in the room with people. Cue the pandemic. So 2 years ago, that pandemic hits and we decide that we need to work out a way that we can create immersive learning and continue to deliver with impact and engage our learners. So with our clients and with partners that have supported us to get here today, we started to go on a journey of, well, how can we do this? And we decided we wanted to do it in a studio-based setting. The science behind it was, well, let's think about the learners, but equally, what about us stood here? A lot of time was taken and lots of practice to understand, well, what is it like to deliver behind a camera? We're not actors, we're facilitators. We've been doing it a long time. We know how to do it in the room, but how do you do it behind a camera? It changes the dynamic completely. So we really focused hard on creating a safe environment for people to stand behind this camera, feeling confident, feeling the best versions of themselves, and ultimately be able to deliver their messages and their impact in the way that they needed to. So 12 months into this journey, myself and Danny looked at it and went, well, there's got to be something in this. This space, we had what, one space at the time?
Yeah, absolutely. That's where we started.
So we had one space in the Midlands, and we looked at it and said, we're benefiting from this new level of engagement and immersive learning. How could we help other businesses? How could we create spaces that are truly agile and allow them to connect with their people, their businesses, and their customers in a different way? And that's when we started a new focus to build the labs, but also to reinvent the way that we connect.
I guess from my perspective, it was all about starting with simplicity. Let's make this super simple. The industry, media production, video production, whatever it may be, is fraught with complexity, needs a lot of very technical people with a lot of very, very, very complex equipment to run it and to produce what we're trying to achieve. So how do we remove those complexities? How do we remove some of those barriers? How do we make sure it's as easy as possible to produce high-end material, high-end media as quickly as we possibly can to serve what is the current way of working today? And we touched on this concept of labs or studios. Luke mentioned it just a moment ago. And the reason why we went with a lab is because for me, laboratories are where things are made, things are created, we innovate, we make fancy things. But think not mad science, but fun science. Okay, so that's probably the important differentiator between the two. I think next up is, the mix between media production and video production. We are definitely not a video production business, but more a media production business. And it's important to differentiate those two things, because I think video production has a fantastic place in the market, but ours is about media production because these labs, these spaces are set up to create, build, make pretty much anything you want it to do. And we'll share with you as the time goes by what some of those things might be. So we think lab, not studio, but enough of us talking about them. Why don't you take a few minutes, have a look around, both the one here in the north and our one in the Midlands. So as you've had a chance to just explore our two labs, I thought I'd spend a little bit of time just delving into what you can expect to see in each one, because whilst they're in two different locations, in fact they're two quite different spaces, they both come cram-packed with some facilities that I'm sure you can take advantage of. I think first of all is our investment in camera technology. Both labs have 5 4K cameras at your disposal. This means we can create either multiple camera angles or multiple set environments, allowing us to record lots of different things all at once. Really high quality 4K cameras that enable us to capture the moment in whatever it may be. We've also created some sets, so set designs, so environments whereby we can change the set. So you might want this type of environment where you're up on your feet and you can move around a little bit. You might want a sofa, you might want a desk, you might want some comfy chairs, you might want to tone things down or round things up. We have plinths and arches, you name it, pretty much we can create an environment that absolutely works for what you're trying to deliver. We've talked about cameras, but let's talk about technology. We wanted to make sure these labs have the state-of-the-art technology in them, enabling us to create exceptional media materials, no matter what that looks like or what it feels like. Now, our job is to understand how it works, but what your benefit is, you get to reap the output from all of that technology coming together. And the final part for me was about our labs being a place to be, a place for people to connect. And we know that often when you're creating materials like this, people like to come along, they want to get involved with the action, they want to sit back and watch. So we've also created in both spaces a communal area where people can sit, where people can work, they can just hook up their laptops, jump on our Wi-Fi, they can even watch on the screen what's taking place inside the lab while they get on with their day.
Sorry.
And no apologies, John, this is the first run through, stop saying sorry. So not only did we focus on the physical technology and the physical assets of the lab themselves and the spaces, we also took a lot of time to understand how we can further support anything that you'll be doing digitally. So you may have noticed that there are assets that we've been playing out over the screen, from lower thirds to stings at the beginning to split screens. If you don't know what these things are, they all exist within this world, and these are the things that we can help you deliver. But we saw that there was an opportunity for this part of the process, if we want to call it that, to be a bit more agile and a little bit more streamlined, and also a bit more inclusive. And finally, more cost effective, because it's where an awful lot of time in our experience, time can be spent. So we created a library of assets of all of the things that I've just mentioned, that you can come in, pick which template you like for all of those different things. We'll take your colours, your brand, your name, your logos and your images, and we'll just load them in. It speeds it up, it keeps you involved all along the way, but also, if you want it to be completely new, completely tailored and unique, we can do that for you too. Then we looked at how we deliver this. So in business, we've been extremely accustomed to delivering this through Zoom or Microsoft Teams, as some of you may be aware of. But there are so many different things out there that we can deliver this content through. And everything that you see there, we can streamline it through, and we can deliver it with the same effects, the same impact that we chose to do so in the first place. That will never be something that stops us from delivering. And in fact, one important thing to know is we're currently streaming this live through YouTube Live, through LinkedIn Live and Facebook Live, all at the same time. We can do that for you too.
TV's got. Luke, will you turn the telly on, please? Sure, I can't see what
That's fine, that's fine.
that one happened to.
Thank you, Danny John.
What one? I was expecting that to change. That's weird. So I'm not waiting for that to go, and of course I'm already on. Anyway, I'm on. Sorry about that. So Luke talked a little bit about both the assets and the different resources which we can use for any media production that we do. He also talked about the advantages of what we do around the live environment. And actually, the services that we can deliver aren't just limited to live events, although they are a great way to communicate, to launch a product or a service, to talk to your customers, to sell to your customers, or perhaps even just engage with your people in a different way. We have a broader range of offerings to that. First of all, there's the video stuff that we talked about, the pre-recorded content, whether that's an explainer video, a website film, a training session that gets uploaded onto your LMS, whether that is a piece of content that you want to produce to demonstrate what you do to your customers. You name it, if it needs recording, these labs are set up to do that in whichever way you want it to be done. Podcast is a very popular tool and environment in which we find ourselves in, more so today than ever before. But actually, podcasts recorded in the right way, with the right sound quality, in the right environment, can elevate them to the next stage. And in fact, we're finding now more than ever, people are looking to record those podcasts to make them more immersive, to give people an option of viewing them in different ways and on different platforms. We've got some really exciting projects on at the moment where we're delivering podcasts for our customers, and they are connecting with their people in ways that they've just not been able to do so before. And then, of course, I guess the coverall, the final point, those customized events. Pretty much anything that doesn't fit in my three previous points. And I want to leave it really as broad as that, because it is about you telling us what you're trying to achieve, how you want to connect, how you want to reach the audience that you're trying to reach, and let us use the labs as a platform, as a mechanism to make that happen.
Should be a slide there.
No, it's straight to
Thank
me.
you.
Thank you. So, final thing. Our website is now live, and within our website you can find more information about what we do and how we do it, and also it will allow you to reach out and contact us. I think one of the things that I wanted to say to you and take the opportunity to talk about today is we are still in our learning journey. So whilst we have said there are a number of things that we can do and we know we can do, come to us and ask the question if you've got ideas yourself, because we're prepared to try and learn with you along the way. So if you think this could work for my business and I want to try X and we haven't done it, we'll work with you, because the starting point for us is our team's your team, our space is your space. So if we start there, we've got a good starting point to work from. And pricing brochure, fine. Right, so John, we missed the iPad there, buddy.
Yeah, I couldn't see it on the screen, so
Couldn't see what, buddy?
yeah, I had to change the feed. I couldn't see it on the screen, but I've got it queued up now.
But just bring it up then, let's just give it a test.
Yeah.
Nice one.
It's
Look.
very, very small.
Oh no, that's not the website, it's just because it's not gone live yet.
Right.
So, is that what you saying you couldn't see on the screen?
Yeah, I'm looking at a even tinier screen than you see.
No, sorry, that's my fault. I should have said to you. Right, we'll have to do the next run next because I've actually got a call, but that was really good. And FYI, you finished in around 17 to 30 seconds, which would have made it 15 and 30 seconds. We lost 90 seconds just getting things sorted. 15 minutes, we're going to be on point. Yeah. Brilliant run through, John. Really well done for your first run. Don't end the broadcast. Keep it live and we'll go straight on after. Right. Let's just make sure that we've got no microphones. The only thing we haven't tested either is sound. Hello, welcome, and thank you for joining us on this live broadcast. I'm Luke Hall.
And I'm Danny Gray.
And we are here today, a very proud moment for us and our team to welcome you to the launch of our new business, our new brand, the Virtual Labs.
Indeed.
And over the next 15 minutes, we're going to take a little bit of time to talk you through how we've got here over the last 2-year journey.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. There's been pains, there's been pleasures, there's been highs, there's been lows, there's been loads of fun, but equally there's been loads of lessons. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk you through those lessons that got us here and how we created the Virtual Labs and what that means for you. So as you'll see, we're stood up in what would appear to be a studio. Okay, well, we call our studios the Labs. So let's tell you a little bit about our journey. So we're all a little bit fed up of talking about the pandemic, but unfortunately we're going to have to drag ourselves back there just for a brief moment, because that is where the Virtual Labs began. Myself and Danny are lucky enough to own 2 independent businesses that work in the training and development space. We work across multiple industries and sectors. And in doing that, us and our teams spent all of our time prior to the pandemic in a classroom, teaching people face to face and engaging with our learners in that physical space.
Absolutely not the other side of a camera.
Not this.
No.
So, cue the pandemic. And we find ourselves in March 2020 looking at the year and thinking, what do we do next? Like many, many businesses. But we won't bore you with all of the bits that happened around those first few months because, well, that was an interesting time for everybody.
Indeed
But
it was.
But what we decided really, really quickly is we didn't want to just use the technology that had been made available to us and deliver our training. It wasn't engaging enough. It wasn't immersive enough. It didn't give the learners what we wanted for them to receive as learners in a room. So we wanted to change the space. We wanted to change the feeling and the immersiveness of what we were doing. But also there was another thing that we really focused on, and that's our part.
Absolutely. The part that we get to play in amongst it all.
So Danny and I have been facilitating for many years, as of our team. But the one thing that we're not, and even 2 years on, we still are not, is we're not actors.
No, definitely not.
And being in this space is an entirely different piece. And even still to this day, stood here now in front of you, it's totally different to being sat in a room with somebody. And therefore, we try to create an environment for people like ourselves to feel safe, to feel comfortable, to feel courageous, to be the best versions of themselves. So we went on and we built a temporary studio in Warwick. And at that point, we had a moment, 12 months in, sat having dinner.
Yes, we were.
Milton Keynes, I remember that. And we said we could do something with this beyond just helping our learners receive that immersive experience. We could create spaces, labs that allow businesses to truly engage their customers, their people, and anybody that they want to be talking to through whatever media they're looking to do that.
To connect with their audience.
To connect. And here's to our point. Our focus for the Virtual Labs is about reinventing the way that we connect.
I guess from my perspective, and what started this journey off was one of exploration of simplicity. The industry, video production and content production such as that is incredibly complicated, has lots of very complex technology and requires a huge team of people in order to use it and deliver it. And so we wanted to remove all of that, make this as simple and easy as we possibly could to deliver engaging, powerful outcomes, but whilst keeping an eye on those budgets and making it absolutely cost efficient. The spaces for us, calling them labs, as Luke's already alluded to, rather than studios, was really important. In a lab, it's all about creation, innovation, invention, making something that's truly unique. And we wanted our spaces to replicate that. So don't think mad science, think fun science in the making. I also think it's worth talking about the difference between us in media production and those others in video production.
There are some fantastic video production organizations out there, but what they offer is different to what we have. In our space, we've created an environment for you to create media of all different types and for all different reasons, but we do it here in this space. Now, we've talked a bit about the space, we've talked a bit about our labs, so why not take a few minutes to have a look around, not just the one here in the Northeast, but our one in the Midlands as well. So, quick whistle-stop tour around both of the labs, but let me talk to you a bit about what you can expect to find when you arrive at one of our great locations. First of all, we've taken a lot of time and effort to make sure we get the right cameras into the space to create the best quality production. Each location has 5 4K cameras, giving you absolute flexibility and range in how you utilize them. Whether it's multiple camera angles, whether it's multiple sets, you can use that camera capability to really immerse or create an immersive environment for your audience. The second thing we've done in both locations is make sure there's plenty of flexibility in the space, whether that's creating different set designs from sofas to wingback chairs to desks, or even stood in front of a camera like I am right now. We can tailor the space to you and to your needs. We can even dress it up with your colors and your branding, so it becomes completely owned by you rather than this white space that you see around me today. We touch a bit on camera work, but we've also invested heavily in technology, making sure we have the very latest media production technology at our fingertips. This enables us to really capitalize on the phenomenal reach that technology can have in the marketplace and really bring the virtual space to life. And finally, our space is your space. We want to connect and bring people together. So in both locations, we have a space where people can come and work, a place where people can sit down, hook up their laptop, watch the production on a screen, or even just stick their head around the corner and get involved. We know people like to be a part of the action, so we want you and those around you to be here when we do that.
Not only did we invest in the physical technology and the physical spaces themselves, but we spent a lot of time working out how we could create user-friendly agile digital supporting content that allows us to deliver whatever media we choose with absolute impact. So to start with, we've created a library of digital assets that you can pick from. And these create the ability to be fully involved in the design process. So this library of stings and lower thirds and split screens, if you don't know what they are, don't worry, we can tell you about them closer to the time. But the point is, we've already done the hard work for you up front, which keeps it cost effective, which makes it immersive for you and keeps you involved. We take those ones that you've picked, those templates that you've picked, and then you give us your logos, your brands, your tone of voice, and then we layer them into the template, making sure that it is low cost, low effort, but ultimately it makes sure that we're delivering the right messages at the right time with the impact that you need for your business. And also, if you choose to have something completely different, we naturally have the ability to do that too. And then we looked at how we deliver through live streaming. We're all aware of Zoom and Teams, and for businesses, that's really been the platform that they've been using. But there are so many different medias and platforms at which people can share their business content, communicate with their customers and their people. And all of those that you see, we have the ability to stream live services through. Not only do we have the ability to stream through one, we can stream through multiple at any one time. Today, we're streaming on YouTube Live, LinkedIn Live, and we're streaming on Facebook Live, all at the same time.
It's all about, I guess, how do we do that? And Luke touched on in his introduction about the assets and the resources that we can share with you, but also about the live broadcast like we're doing today. But actually, live broadcasting is just one of the things that we can do from the labs. And whilst that works brilliantly if you want to communicate to a few or to communicate to a few thousand, live can engage audiences in all kinds of different ways. But so can pre-recorded film. Pre-recorded video created in the labs gives you an option to create explainer videos, website films, learning content to go on a learning management system. In fact, anything that you can do to use this type of media to create a better connection with your audience, the labs provide that space. We've seen a huge increase in the utilization of podcasts in organizations, and they've really taken off over the last few years. But recording a podcast in the right space with the right audio and the right environment can really elevate it. But take it from an audio podcast to a video podcast, and we start to think about things in a very different way. In fact, we're working with people that see that as a real opportunity to engage with people just differently, but using a similar type of approach. Couple those things together with what we can bring at the labs, and we start to really make a difference in the way that we connect. And then, of course, the coverall, what we don't do in any of those three different areas, those customized events, those truly bespoke projects. And I guess they're as far as they are long and wide. Lots and lots of different things we can do in many, many, many different ways. It's just down to you to think about what you want to create and let us provide the space in which you can create it in.
So, as we start to bring this to a conclusion, we wanted to just let you know that to understand more about who we are and what we do and how we do it, our website is now live for you to go on and have a look at some testimonials, some more information about what we do, some more information about what we've done through those testimonials, as well as videos, supporting videos that show you exactly the type of stuff that we can create for you and your business. And also the website allows you to connect with us. If you've got any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. We are all learning. So if you look at this and think, I've got an idea, maybe we could use the virtual lab, don't hesitate to ask. We may not have done it before. We are learning with you too. But I guess the answer to your question will always be, as Danny said earlier, our team is your team, our space is your space, And therefore, if we use that as a foundation to work from, we can only benefit together from that. The other thing that we do have available, if you email us on the hi@thevirtuallabs.com email address, is a pricing structure. We've kept it simple. There's no hidden pricing. We will give it to you straight away. So right from the beginning, you know the price points, you know what you're getting, and we remove all of that complexity that can sometimes be added to the experience. And finally, thank you. Thank you for taking the time to watch this live stream, live or in playback. We hope you have a great rest of the day and week, and we hope to speak to you very soon.
Yeah, thanks very much. It's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you here on this session. I certainly look forward to the next time. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye for now.